Bobby's been subpoenaed. Actiblizz under further investigation by the feds. Oh, and by the way, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that while this happened, their chief legal officer, she's like, hey, you know what? Would you look at the time? You guys know what time it is? It's get the fuck out of here time. Yo, peace. I'm outie. She ditched. She fucking ditched. Have a good one, Kegrin. Get better, dude. See you later.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the news. Honestly, today it's a pretty damn big one because the SEC are now investigating Activision Blizzard. Bobby Kotick has been subpoenaed, and their chief legal officer has left the company. So,
now, why would the chief legal officer leave this company that she's been working for God knows how long? Clearly, it's just like, well, I just needed a bit of a change of pace. Clearly, I mean, you know, sometimes you just get tired of working for the same faceless corporation for this long, and you just need to go work someplace else. And yeah, that's totally has nothing to do with the shitstorm that is raining down on Blizzard, the hellfire and fucking brimstone that is coming for them. No, nothing like that. By the way, Blizzard, if I'm not mistaken, still has not done a damn thing about their employees who have reasonably requested like 4 things. Nope, still nothing. Still absolutely fucking nothing. No, it's just all the same. They still haven't done a damn thing. Thanks, Blizzard. Thanks for treating your people like absolute trash, for threatening them as well, which is something that they've done, threatening them to fire them and whatnot if they spoke to the media. Thank you. Thank you for inspiring all of your developers, and not just developers, like developers and just people who work there in general, inspiring them through fear. I think that is a great way to access the creative potential of the people who work for you. And that is most definitely going to contribute to a better development of World of Warcraft and all of your other titles. Yes, 100%. Especially Overwatch 2.
that's quite a lot to start the day off with. To run into what's actually happened then. So the Securities and Exchange Commission, now they are the big important group, especially when it comes to any publicly traded company, right? This is super serious. They have now opened their own investigation into Activision Blizzard's response to the ongoing sexual harassment and misconduct allegations. And according to the reporting from the Wall Street Journal, the SEC have, well, requested a lot of stuff from Activision Blizzard as a part of this look into what's been going on. So they actually want Bobby Kotick's communications with management and other high-level executives during the allegations. So as an example, what emails did Bobby Kotick send to J. Allen Brack when this was going down? Well, the SEC wants those. Separation agreements with employees who left Activision Blizzard this year. Personnel files for 6 specific former employees. So let's hope those didn't find the digital shredder. 2 years of...
They're not going to get most of this because, like Bellular just said, they've been shredding evidence. Because you know what? It's easier to pay the fine for destroying evidence than it is to deal with the consequences of whatever those evidence we're going to uncover. So just like, well, just put it down the shredder. It was literally an economical decision for them. It's like, what's going to be most expensive, dealing with this in court or shredding this and paying a fine? Shredding and paying a fine is less expensive. Very well. Shred the evidence. Who cares about ethics?
Board meeting minutes. It's got to be a lot of minutes. They're also reporting, the Wall Street Journal that is, that the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission have also been running their own investigation of gender-based harassment, misconduct, and discrimination since at least May of last year. Which is quite funny. Given, Blizzard going on to BlizzCon, J. Allen Brack wearing his pride pin and all of that stuff, and then you see what they're actually being accused of internally.
Hypocrisy! Blizzard is full of fucking hypocrites. It's almost like the people who virtue signal the hardest are the ones that are usually, have most shit to hide. They're like, dude, I'm going to make myself such a massive virtue signaler that nobody's ever going to think that I'm doing any shady shit whatsoever. Let's go.
It does make you think, how serious was all of that? Because even if people at the company did believe in all of that, at the end of the day, what matters for employees is what's actually friggin' done. To continue then, the federal agency are reportedly in settlement talks with Activision Blizzard, with millions of dollars being on the table. Of course, millions of dollars is not going to be the biggest amount of money for Activision Blizzard, but it's obviously going to be bad if they end up having to pay a fine there. The SEC also are going to be investigating whether Activision Blizzard had an obligation
this
to
was when their
inform
investors sued them as
about
well.
the allegations before the California Department of Fair Housing and Employment made all of that stuff public in July. Now that's going to be interesting. Some investors obviously do think so because a number of investor lawsuits have been launched against Activision Blizzard all about false and misleading statements and failing to disclose pertinent information, because I think, yes, you would want to know if this stuff is going on, and they were not really coughing up the information. Now, the SEC have also reportedly subpoenaed a number of current and former staff, but Activision Blizzard are seemingly happy to cooperate there. Of course, if they weren't happy to cooperate, it would be a pretty damn bad look, so I would find it hard. I find it hard to see them not doing that. Now, they have actually had a representative say this: "We've made and are making a number of important changes to improve our policies and procedures to ensure there is no place anywhere in our company for discrimination, harassment, or unequal treatment of any kind." And of course, we've heard this sort of thing again and again from them, but a lot of employees are still obviously pissed at the forced arbitration agreements. There is a lot of the murmurings internally about, potential reprisals against the employees who are actually speaking up in this
If
shit.
only I could be so
So that's all
grossly
quite bad.
incandescent.
There is the labor board
Good day at
suits
Rurikhan, hope
that,
all is well.
of course, a better ABK are tied up in as well. So it just keeps on going. It keeps on going. That's basically the message.
Yep.
Now, in this instance, though, we would say it's worth remembering that the Department of Fair Housing and Employment recently expanded their lawsuit to include temp workers, and they also accused Activision Blizzard of,
Like we
shredding
talked about.
evidence.
Bane Soul
So,
Reaper, thank you very much for being
there's
real
that.
synchronous for 26 months.
There's that.
Tip of
And
the hat.
it really is
Appreciate
worth just
support. Thank you.
doubling down to everybody. Like, once you include temp workers, bam, that's so many more people. I think a lot don't understand, like, just how many temps, how many bodies are thrown into the machine.
Yeah, I mean, it is
All you have to think about is this: if Blizzard is comfortable enough exploiting their current people, and let's not mince words here, that's exactly what they're doing. When you consider the fact that a lot of these people can barely afford basic housing, or even just like basically supporting themselves financially enough to be able to just eat, because they're essentially exploiting the passion of the individuals that want to go work at Blizzard. Like I said, I myself, like when I was growing up and when I made my education decisions, in the back of my mind, there was the very extremely remote possibility that, hey, you know what? I'm going to learn programming. I'm going to learn all of these things so that maybe one day I could actually work at Blizzard. So even me, all the way out here in Portugal, I had the dream to eventually one day go work for Blizzard. That's how powerful their IP is, right? So if you're talking about some random Portuguese dude in Bumsville, Portugal was dreaming about this, I can't even begin to imagine how anyone that lives anywhere close to Irvine, California, who is into video games was like, oh my God, dude, I totally got to go work. And Blizzard used that to leverage against them to pay them well below market averages because, hey, you're going to be working at Blizzard. This is going to be fantastic on your resume, dude. You're going to love it. So if you just consider that level of exploitation that they're doing to their people, imagine how hardcore they are exploiting temp workers. Picture that. That dream is still alive. You can work for... Dude. That dream hasn't been alive in a while. Listen, that dream of me working at Blizzard might have been in the back of my mind right up until 2018. In 2018, Wyatt Chang came out of nowhere and shot that dream in the back of his shed. Wyatt Shed came up to my dreams, right? Wyatt Chen, he just came up to my dreams and listen. Let me just, wait, we're starting soon. No, listen, here's what happened. So for the purpose of this exercise, just imagine that this is me. This is actually not me. I know it looks real good. I know it looks exactly like me. It's even got the hat. And it's also got the physique, right? The beautiful Kratos physique. So here's my dream. And do I have a gun here? I don't think I have a gun here. No, wait. Let's pretend this controller is a gun, right? So here's my dream. And picture that I am Wyatt Chang. And here's my dream. And it's like, oh, that's such a nice dream you have there. Oh. Here, let's go behind the shed. And it's like, this chair is the shed, right? Let's go behind the shed. Let me show you what I do to your dream. Pow! 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 That's what I did to your dream, motherfucker. That's what Wyatt Chang did to my dreams. He went on stage, took my dream out back, popped 3 caps in it, and left a corpse in the ground.
There's this insane amount of people that are on contracts. I mean, that's been a large ongoing problem in the games industry where, you know, if you need something done because you're on a game that requires 200, 300 bodies to make, you're not going to hire them all because you only need them for the biggest part of production. You don't need them after, you don't need them before. So you have temp workers, but they're significantly less protected legally. So you can do, to be quite frank, worse things with them. You can do shadier things with them. Yeah. And that's what I think is it's interesting to see this kind of going from the SEC being involved, because I think that's the big stuff. They're the people who can hit you with fines of hundreds of millions. They're very much on the investors' side, which means, you know, if they can see any of Blizzard's or any of Activision Blizzard's treatment of employees impacting investors without them, you know, being able to have their say or know about it, then the SEC can come down hard. And if the DFEH expands it to include temporary workers, if the entire legal system is kind of looking at how they treat workers and not just the investor side of things, if the DFEH and the SEC in any capacity joined hands and started to look at the long-term effects, you could see quite severe impact here.
Yeah,
at least I think so.
It's interesting. I suppose the SEC getting involved, they're a public company. Yeah. Maybe you have to wonder if Riot Games was a public company, if things could have been different whenever they had their case. But certainly, if you are Bobby and a bunch of investors who, you know, literally Bobby's job is to steer the company in a way that will provide maximum shareholder return. Mm-hmm. And then the SEC subpoenas him personally and is investigating the company. I mean, that is a complete loss. I mean, okay, the complete loss is them being found guilty of stuff, but even this going on, this is smoke. That's going to rattle investor confidence. Yep. So it's pretty damn hardcore.
It's going to hit them
now,
where it
hurts. There's another thing that's happened, and that is Claire Hart. So Claire Hart is Blizzard's chief legal officer, and she confirmed her departure on LinkedIn earlier this week. Looks like she left the company last Friday. She spent 3 years with Blizzard, according to LinkedIn, anyway. And she had experience across Activision Blizzard and their Asia Pacific and China subsidiary. She apparently will be taking a break as a part of her as yet unannounced new role. So it's kind of unclear what's really going on. But I mean, given that there's a bunch of legal stuff going on, it's probably worth letting people know. Now, that said, this could have been a planned departure for months before this happened. So do keep that in mind. She did have a farewell.
Really, Bellular? This could have been a planned departure. Yeah, sure. It just happened to time with exactly the moment where the feds came out for Blizzard, and it's just like, oh, it was a coincidence. Come on, dude. She sees the writing on the wall. Don't give me this crap.
Statement saying that in the past 3 years have been full of unexpected twists and turns.
That's one way of putting it.
You can say that.
Well, you know, for her sake, I hope they were unexpected. I think for a lot of people at Blizzard, people we've talked to, none of this shit was unexpected whatsoever. So, you know, I'm going to call a little bit of the unexpected bit into question there. But there you go. She says she feels honored to have worked with so many great people, you know, all the shit people say whenever they leave. Or, you know, have some sort of change. So it seems to be an amicable split. It's just the sort of thing that law person going at same time as many lawsuits. Big thing.
Yeah.
I don't really know how much there is to read into that, to be honest.
I mean,
You
like, for my
come
personal
on.
opinion, I'm just thinking, well, okay, legal officer, lawsuits. A legal officer generally probably doesn't have to deal with anything this bad a lot of the time. So you're going to have a much comfier job if you just go somewhere else that isn't embroiled in all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing where this is just too much work, I'm out. Obviously that's likely not true, but that's the kind of thought I'm.
That's exactly what it looks like. I don't know about that.
Never mind be the chief legal officer, and it must really hurt the rest of the executive suite to have her go at this point in time. It's really frustrating.
The next thing then is that, of course, Blizzard Entertainment is still a games company. They still have to release games. And we're gearing up. There's Hearthstone content coming that is in itself rather dramatic, let's just say. We've got World of Warcraft, patch 9.1.5 being on the PTR. We've also got Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Which is out in 2 days.
We're going to be talking about
and
that
I think
in
a lot of
bit,
people are
too.
wondering, well, what the hell is going to happen to D2R in a world where Blizzard is going through all this shit? And what's interesting there is that it's kind of, I don't want to say it's got nothing to do with Diablo 2 Resurrected, but this is a game made by Vicarious Visions, who are based in New York.
It's like there is one thing that I want to talk about this, because this does frustrate me a little bit because of some of the comments that I got on my Diablo video, particularly because I went out of my way not to be confrontational or to incite any kind of boycott or whatever, right? If you watch that video, you'll have noticed that. Because to me, it's like, look, life is short. You should play whatever is fun for you and whatever, right? If you want to take a stand, you should take a stand for what you believe in. If you don't want to take a stand, you should enjoy whatever it is that you want to enjoy. You want to play World of Warcraft, play World of Warcraft. You want to play some random mobile game, play it. Just play whatever is fun for you. At the end of the day, that's the only thing that should matter. But a lot of people came at me going like, oh, you're going to punish Vicarious Visions because of what Blizzard is doing. And to me, that just sounds so incredibly naive. It's like, what do you mean punish Vicarious Visions? Do you not understand the company that is going to be seeing the lion's share of, you know, any type of sales revenue is going to be Activision Blizzard and not the sub-studio Vicarious Visions? They've probably already got as much money as they're going to get out of Diablo 2 because Blizzard paid them to do the remaster. Like, that's done. That's a done deal. There might be some kind of like minor bonuses attached to sales, which I doubt, because usually that doesn't happen that much. I've seen like bonuses around, what are they called? The Metacritic score. We've seen that across the industry, but not necessarily tied to sales. So, yeah, it's like, make no mistake, if you buy Diablo 2, Vicarious Visions are not the ones that are being supported. It is Activision Blizzard. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't get it and you shouldn't play it or whatever. I think you should do whatever you want. But the way that so many people were just like, I can't believe you're punishing Vicarious Visions. I ain't punishing shit. I'm just basically speaking with my wallet, and my wallet cannot support World of Warcraft. Not World of Warcraft, I mean, Activision Blizzard. Or WoW. Rurikhan, you say a lot of people, it's most likely 1% of your viewership. Yeah, it's probably, because it's probably a lot of people that don't actually subscribe to me and have no idea who I am. You are correct there, but a lot of people ended up posting on that video and that annoyed the shit out of me, so.
Who, until very recently, were not a part of Blizzard Entertainment.
Yeah.
And at least for them, now every company has issues.
Yeah.
Even Andrew Wilson saying that, like, yeah, they of course have issues because they've got like 10,000 employees and that's just how it is. Difference is they actually, fair play to EA, it seems like they actually deal with problems, at least in this nature, decently. I know Andrew Wilson has talked about, people being dismissed for falling foul of this sort of thing. So there were issues across studios, like that whole thing of, oh, the lads are going to play some Call of Duty, so hey there, women, go do our job. We're going to play some COD at work. Like, that was something that happened in Treyarch. I think I was reported in some places. The suicide was also within Activision Publishing, I believe. And Vicarious Visions would count as Activision Publishing, but we haven't really heard anything specifically be tied to Vicarious Visions. And at the very least, Vicarious Visions, it was led by Jen O'Neill. She generally seems to have had a pretty excellent, rap through all of this. So really, it seems like they're probably not having any problems that are beyond what you would normally expect in an organization, as opposed to like a more deep thing. I mean, hopefully we don't find out that isn't the case. But that's the interesting thing. This is a Blizzard product, but it's not really being made by Blizzard, which unfortunately might be some of why it's probably going to be quite good. Not to throw too much shade in Blizzard, but they sure have had issues lately, and Diablo 2 Resurrected has got excellent reviews, like in its previews and stuff. Like I watched, I think, Skill Up's video on it. It all seems to be great. And what is interesting is just this being a game release in the post-lawsuit climate, which led to so this interview with Axios, there's just a lot of them saying like, yeah, this stuff weighs on us. We're very aware of it. Obviously it happened over at Blizzard. But the main thing is that the creators of Diablo 2 Resurrected say people should, quote, do what they feel is right when considering whether to buy next week's big release.
I think that's... I think it shows how serious that the situation is that they're kind of allowed to say that. Because that's like, you imagine that coming from like a Call of Duty dev going, if you don't like our company, don't buy the game. That I feel like that would never get through any sort of PR.
No.
Yeah.
But because Vicarious have this position of being kind of outside looking in, they're like, hey, we're gonna be the good guys in this situation. We don't want you to buy the game if you don't want to give our parent company money. But and then they talk about how they've like went through and they've reflected on everything. They've reached out to employees to sort of gather feedback based on it, and also they've already originally done the stuff for like scrubbing through for problematic content and all that like kind of thing. So they are kind of coming in going, we're relatively bulletproof here, but it's at the end of the day, it's entirely up to you, which I think is very mature of them coming from what you'd expect.
We know what's going on out there. You know what's going on out there. If we said anything else, it would be a loss. I think there's that aspect as well. So, yeah, good on them for being realistic in an interview, absolutely. And I suppose you are just left wondering, how will all of this impact the sales side? I wonder, will this suffer because this stuff's going on? A large part of me thinks yes. I then think, did Riot sell less skins when all of their stuff came out? I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, we're probably not liable to know either, because it's not like they're just going to share digital numbers with us if they're not particularly strong.
Yeah, especially not against their projections. But I imagine that there will be an impact. It'll just be so small we won't really notice it. I think that's what I think the general ratio of people taking moral stances in the games industry has turned out to be, generally speaking. Because so many more people are, and in full, like, well within their rights, are a little bit more detached from industry going-ons and are just trying to enjoy what time they have on the planet, like, which is,
Yeah, and some of that's just going to come down to, like, I mean, it's like, let's just say you're a McCree main, and it transpires that the real Jesse McCree did all of these crazy things, horrible things. Maybe that's the case, maybe it's not. We literally don't know, other than McCree's gone. You could understand that making somebody feel a bit iffy
McCree's
about buying
not
skin for that
gone.
character, or something like that. I guess
It's
for
just
this,
the name
it's like,
McCree is gone.
it's a
Character's
remaster of a
still
game
there.
by a studio that hasn't really been super implicated in anything. Yeah. Sure, some money's going to go to not the best company in the world, but it's a dev team that's pretty solid. It's a game that's very solid. For a lot of people, that's going to be more okay than something that's a bit more directly implicated, and it's just that kind of thing. I mean, are you going to forego buying anything made in China, or, any product that is tied to a big company? Like, I mean, take a read in what Nestle are known for.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, look, if I see the Nestle logo, I'll generally be like, well, I'll take something else. But it's not the most rock solid thing in the universe, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, there's a whole discussion there about, like, the whole ethical consumption discussion, I suppose. But
if we go down that rabbit hole, we can't consume anything. Yeah, I get it. I get it. A lot of people were very quick to point out in my video as well. Do you have an iPhone? And I didn't reply, but no, I don't have an iPhone. I use an Android phone. But then again, it's not like the argument of do you have an iPhone? It's not a very strong argument because it's like, even if I don't have an iPhone, I still have an Android phone, and Google is just as bad. It's not like Google are your friends. I use Gmail, for crying out loud. Google probably reads all of my emails anyways, right? So it's like, yeah, there are a lot of things, and there's also obviously Amazon and the way they treat their workers, even though I personally don't use Amazon that much. I usually try to buy locally whenever I can. Like, my computer does not have a single part on it that came from Amazon. It's all from a local company called Pissediga in Portugal. So it's like, I usually try to buy stuff locally if I can. But, I do my best with this stuff, but there are certain things that you can't escape, like an Android phone or, an iPhone. Those are kind of like your two options. So, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just like, there are certain things where it's like, I'm not invested in Android or Google or Amazon or anything like that. So me suddenly going like, oh, I'm not going to use an Android phone anymore. I'm not going to use a phone anymore. I'm just not going to use a phone, right? Me doing that has like no impact whatsoever. These are just not industries that my platform is in any way influencing. But gaming, I can have a bit of an impact there. So to me, it's more about, with this kind of stuff where people instantly say, oh, do you use an iPhone? Do you, do you buy stuff from Amazon? Do you do X, Y, and Z, whatever, right? You can point like instantly a million things. It's like, to me, it's about each person seeing, can I make a difference somewhere? And I'm not saying that my stance is making a difference. I would like to believe that it will make something because I'm reporting on this stuff, and I would like to improve the conditions for Blizzard workers. And that doesn't mean that I get to do it. But at the same time, I also never said that I'm casting judgment on anyone that wants to buy it. I never did that. So it's like, that's the point.
It's your money. What will this thing mean to you? Can you enjoy the product without supporting the bad things of the parent company, and while, sort of being activisty against the company? I suppose if this was all super being brushed under the rug, you could have just be issues with that. But I think at least you can say that all of the appropriate limbs of the government that people pay their tax money to fund, those are actually doing their job and in a way are doing the investigation for the people, as is the purpose of those organizations. So perhaps for some people, they're like, okay, well, the appropriate authorities have got their hands on it, so I'm just going to truck on and good on the people doing the research, into these investigations, perhaps. So interesting perspectives there on where people lie. So let us know where you lie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's mostly it for today, though.
Absolutely is.
And we'll see. We'll see if the SEC come to a ruling. It will be bloody interesting if they do. And I suppose it'll be a sweaty few weeks for Bobby now that he's being subpoenaed.
Almost certainly.
Aye. So that's it for us. Have a great day, everyone. I know that sometimes we bring little bits of darkness into your world, but I hope that does not detract from it being relatively bright. See you later.
Yeah. Little bits of dark. Oh yeah, the guy in charge of Overwatch 2 also quit. There's also that, but I'm not that invested in Overwatch 2, but I think I did talk about this in previous stream. But yeah, them's the kicks. You not covering Diablo 2 has made me not buy it. That's something. Well, we'll see about that. You covering this stuff constantly is very impactful to all the people that tune in, whether they agree or not, because at the very least, you're making them think about it. Hey, I'm just trying to do my best. I would, again, like I said, I would love to see a return to form to Blizzard. I don't believe it's ever going to happen. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that, they just take the approach of like, oh yeah, I want to see Blizzard burn into the ground and get obliterated. And it's like, I don't think that's a good thing for the industry. I don't. I think that's bad. Like you might think that, oh, but Blizzard does all of this shady stuff. Maybe it's a good thing that they're going to burn into the ground, right? I don't think that's a good thing. I think if they made a return to form and started, and World of Warcraft was a better game, that would be a better thing for the entire MMORPG genre. If they were able to pull something out of a hat and they were able to somehow resurrect World of Warcraft and make it good, that would be good for the entirety of the genre. But 9.1.5 is basically a reaction to get players to come back. Like, that's not them fixing the game. Not even by a long shot. And the sleazy tactics that they used to go like, oh yeah, and if you buy into this Hearthstone nonsense thing, the mercenaries or whatever, or what was it? No, if you buy 6 months, we'll give you all of this crap in Hearthstone, where they're trying to grab Hearthstone players to make up for the fact that, they've lost God knows how many players in WoW retail. Like, you know what you should be doing, Blizzard? You know what you should be fucking doing? How about you ban those fucking bots? How about that? How about you start off by banning the fucking bots? Take a fucking stand. Take a fucking stand for your goddamn game. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. What a complete sham. Like, the way that they just still allow bots. Like, literally, I see videos every day of just, like, regular players that are just trying to enjoy the game, and they literally just, like, run into bots all over the fucking place. It's not like they're even trying. They're not even trying. They're just, like, randomly running into bots. How about you take a stand on that? Instead of being like, oh, guys, we'll fix it. We'll do all the things that you said you wanted. How about you go a little bit above and beyond, considering all the bullshit you've been doing? How about you treat your employees right? How about that? How about you give them a proper fucking working conditions? Oh, no, that's too hard. That costs too much money, right? Yeah, it's much easier to just try and, like, put a couple of patches on the game and then, like, fucking wave mercenary cards in front of people's faces. Fuck you.